Hey.
Hey everybody, it's Peter Parker, your friendly booktube Spider-Man. Chris is a little tied up at the moment. Don't worry, he's okay. He's just a little tied up. And while he is indisposed, I thought I would create this video for you all. This is an original book tag. This is the me tag, the Bookish Spider-Man tag. Basically, this is how it's gonna work. I'm gonna give you 9 categories. Most of them are gonna be characters from books. You're going to have to choose characters from books, although 2 of them are a little bit different, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Then we're going to take those 9 characters and do something with them. But before we get into that, make sure you don't skip ahead, make sure you don't look in the video description just yet. I don't want you to know what we're going to do with these characters. I just want you to pick them honestly and openly, as you would normally pick them if you were given these prompts outside of this tag. I want you to say a little bit about your choices. I want you to tell us which book they're from and why you like them. I really want to learn more about more characters, because characters are what makes awesome books even more awesome, and they're what make great stories even greater. And that's the main point of this tag. Now, for our intents and purposes, I want you to completely ignore age. We're just going to assume that everybody that you choose is right around the age that they're supposed to be to fit within the story that we're eventually going to put the characters in. Don't worry about age, just worry about who you would pick if you were asked this question. I want you to try not to use things from the same book more than once, although I do have to bend this rule for myself a little bit. You might have to too, but I want you to try not to. Number 1 is going to be your Peter Parker. This is your favorite male character of all time, from any book you've ever read. It doesn't have to be a main character, it doesn't have to be a supporting main character, just any male character from any book that you've ever read in your life that you would consider to be your favorite. Now for me, this tag was really freaking difficult because it's really hard to choose your favorite book character from all the books you've ever read in your life. At least for me, I have a hard time remembering certain things about certain books after a while of not reading them. So for me personally, a lot of my choices are from the past few years. And when I thought about this, I decided to choose Ig Parrish from Horns by Joe Hill. I love this character. I think he's really funny, he's really dark, but he's also a really great guy. But everybody just kind of tears him apart in this book when he doesn't necessarily deserve it. And I really like how he deals with it. I really like how he deals with things. I really love the way he's written. I love the way Joe Hill characterized him and made him such a good character. He wakes up one day, right at the beginning of the book, with these random hordes coming out of his head. And he has no idea how they got there, or why they're there, or anything. It's a really interesting concept, and I really suggest you check it out, because Ig is a great character, and so is the book. And the book is great as well. Number 2 is going to be your Harry Osborn. This is going to be your second favorite male character of any book you've ever read. Now, like I said, we're going to try to imagine that all of these characters are around the age that they're supposed to be to fit within this. Keeping that in mind, I choose Dr. Jekyll from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is probably one of my favorite classics, and Dr. Jekyll is one of my favorite classic characters. I love the struggle he goes through, I love what he stands for, I love what that book stands for. If you've never read that book, you really should, because it's great. Number 3 is going to be your Gwen Stacy. This is going to be your favorite female book character of all time. Now for this one, I had to go with Luna Lovegood. I've always thought Luna was the most awesome character ever. She's extremely unique, extremely funny, extremely weird, and just does not give a fuck about what anyone thinks about her or what she does. She is the very definition of awesome. She's totally out there, totally smart, and totally insane, and I just love the way J.K. Rowling wrote her. She's one of my favorite characters in that series, and she's one of my favorite characters of all time. Number 4 is going to be your Mary Jane Watson. This is going to be your second favorite female character ever. Once again, it was a little bit hard to think back through all of the books that I've ever read, for me personally, so I chose one that's sort of recent. I chose Katniss from the Hunger Games trilogy. I always thought Katniss was a really unique, really strong female character. I feel like a lot of the young adult book female characters nowadays take after Katniss because she's such a great character, and I just really like how she handles things, how she handles herself in this world that she's in, and in the situation that she's in. Although towards the end of the final book, things got a little bit iffy. I'm going to pretend the second half of Mockingjay doesn't exist. But other than that, I love Katniss, she's awesome. Number 5 is going to be your Uncle Ben, your favorite fatherly figure in any book you've ever read. And this is a tough one. You have to choose a father figure, someone that acts as a father figure or a mentor or something towards another character in any book you've ever read. I had to go with Hans Huberman from The Book Thief. I love Hans. He's funny and he's a really, really great guy. He's one of the things that makes that book great. The way he helps Liesel and what he does for his family and for the people he cares about is just awesome, and I really like him a lot. Number 6 is going to be your Aunt May, your favorite motherly figure in a book. Now this is where I had to cheat a little bit. I couldn't help myself. I had to choose Molly Weasley, also from the Harry Potter series. Molly is like the best mother figure of any book ever, in my opinion. She is a badass and a badass mom. The "not my daughter, you bitch" part in the books and in the movies is one of my favorite parts in the series. I also love the actress that played her in the movies. I just love the way J.K. Rowling wrote her. She does so much for her family, for Arthur, for Harry, and for the Order of the Phoenix. She's like the designated mother of the Order of the Phoenix, and I love that about her. She is great, and I had to choose her for this. Number 7 is going to be your Green Goblin. This is going to be your favorite villain in any book ever. Now I wanted to go with something a little bit unique for this answer. A couple of the other villains I was considering are from books that I chose for other things in this. So I had to go with this character. This is a character from actually a manga series called Death Note. His name is Light Yagami. I love how sinister, how evil he is, and how twisted he is. He twists everything to fit the way he sees the world. He twists his view of himself and everyone around him to fit his views, and it's really scary. He is a really screwed up character, and I loved reading about him. I loved to hate him throughout the entire Death Note series. He's the main character of the Death Note series, so you kind of have to feel like you should root for him, but at the same time, you hate him and you don't want him to win. And I really love that about that series and about the character. Number 8 is going to be your New York City. This is going to be your favorite place in any book at all. Any setting, any world, any whatever. Just your favorite setting for a book. Could be someplace from fantasy, could be someplace from sci-fi, could be something real. I don't know. There's no constraints on what kind of place you can choose, just choose a place. I decided to choose 1920s New York, which was featured most heavily in Pendragon The Never War by DJ MacHale. This is my favorite book in the Pendragon series, a lot because of how well it features 1920s New York. I've always loved reading about the 1920s. I always like thinking about the 1920s. It's one of my favorite times to read about in any book or in any story. And I just love the way specifically that DJ MacHale captures it in that book, The Never War. Finally, number 9 is going to be your Stan Lee. This is going to be your favorite author, your favorite writer ever. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I share the same opinion as Chris on this, so I think you should be able to guess who I'm going to say. Go ahead, right now, say right now, who is it? You're probably right if you've ever watched even one of Chris' videos before. My favorite writer is Stephen King. Just like Chris does, I love the way he writes, I love his style, I love his storytelling ability, and I'm always wanting more of his books all the time. Now we're going to take all of those things you just chose and put them into a little story, kind of like a Mad Lib. Put the little Mad Lib prompt down below in the video description so you can follow along if you need to. I'll also write out over top of this video for you. A brand new comic by Stephen King starring a hero named Ig Parrish. He is raised by his aunt Molly Weasley and his uncle Hans Huberman. His uncle unfortunately dies because he was killed by a random criminal. This inspires Ig to avenge his uncle and to fight evil in the place they live called 1920s New York. He falls in love with Luna Lovegood, who unfortunately dies because she was killed by our hero's arch enemy, Light Yagami. Poor Luna. Ig kills Light in the fight that ensues after this tragic event. Light's son, Dr. Jekyll, who also happens to be Ig's best friend, takes his father's place as our hero's arch enemy, seeking revenge. Soon after all of this occurs, Ig falls in love with Katniss, who joins him in his fight to defeat evil by becoming a hero herself. Now, I'm sure there are some me fans, some Spider-Man fans out there, that are seething with rage of how much I changed about the story to fit my own purposes. Well, to that I have to say, it's my story and I'll do what I want with it. I tried to change some things for the good. I really didn't want to make the second female character just another love interest. I wanted to make her a hero as well. Didn't want to be all misogynistic, making the only female characters in this either be love interests or die. That's kind of screwed up. So I made the second female character a hero. I'm sure there are plenty of other things that don't fit within the actual Spider-Man story, but whatever. This tag was mainly just for silly, stupid fun. Mainly because I had the costume and because I was able to get rid of Chris for a while and steal his camera. Now I'm going to go ahead and tag 6 people to do this. I want to see what things you guys would choose for this. The second part of this, the whole little Mad Lib story, that's just an added extra thing. I don't want you to choose your characters based off of what happens in that. Just choose your characters honestly. That second part is just for silly, stupid fun. The choosing of your answers is the part that we're all looking for. To learn about more characters, to learn about more great books. And that's really what I think the whole point of these book tags are. And I really hope you guys will do it. Don't have to dress up as Spider-Man to do it, although that would be preferred. I'm just kidding. But I would like to see someone do this, even though it's a difficult tag, it's a really stupid tag. It might be kind of fun to do. It was certainly fun to make. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how stupid you thought this was in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Please subscribe to Chris. He's got more great things coming out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Chris will see you real soon. Hopefully. Maybe. Man, I can't see anything.